Hey everyone, this is Ken from the Queen's Cabinet. Shelby told me that she's had a few subscribers tell her that there's no sound on the last video that she posted, and the kids told me that it was probably done when the video was rendering. So if you turn your phone, if you're watching it on your phone, turn your phone sideways and then you can hear the audio from that last video.
Hi everyone, it's Shelby. Welcome back to this week's meal plan. It is raining cats and dogs today. The temperature dropped. So I think I'm gonna start off the week by making some chicken tortilla soup. The chicken tortilla soup is excellent. It's all about the toppings, I think. And if you have any leftover soup, you can measure out the liquid and make like a Spanish chicken mole rice with it. Do 2 parts liquid. You might have to add some water or chicken stock depending on how much rice you're going to use. But all of those vegetables and the chicken, and it's delicious. It's like a traditional chicken mole rice dish. So sometimes I'll do that if we have any tortilla soup left over. In my stock pot, I have a whole roasting chicken covered in water. I'm going to add 4 of the Knorr chicken bouillon cubes and just let this cook. I have 2 poblano peppers and I'm just roasting them on the open flame. I'll turn them occasionally. My goal is to get them kind of charred all over on the skin. Now that the peppers are all charred, I'm going to put them in a bowl, cover it with saran wrap, and let them steam for about 10 minutes. It'll make it easier to get the skins off. I'm going to start the base of the soup with a couple onions, a couple carrots, 4 stalks of celery, jalapeno, and I'm going to throw this one in too. I have a little piece of one. I want to use that up. 3 pretty large cloves of garlic. I'm going to grate those on the microplane. And we have our poblano peppers steaming in the bowl. So I'm going to start and get all of these veggies cut up. And this is going to be the base of the soup. I have my stock pot heating up. I'm going to add a tablespoon or so of olive oil. And I want to start the onions cooking. I've cooked the onions on low for about 30 minutes, and it's really nice if you can take your time with the onions because it's going to make all the difference in the soup. I'm going to add the carrots and the celery. I'm adding the carrots, the celery, the jalapeno pepper, we'll let these cook for a little bit. The poblano peppers have steamed about 10 minutes. I'm going to take them out, and I have found that the easiest way to get the char off is use a paper towel. It just kind of pulls it right off. the second one done. At the end of August, if you're in New Mexico, they roast chilies, the hatch chilies, at supermarkets, at gas stations, just about anywhere you can think. And it smells so good. Oh my gosh. They have big roasting things. All right. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and stem these and get them chopped up. I'm going to add the chilies and the garlic. Give it a big stir. Smells amazing. The chicken's been cooking for about almost 2 hours. I'm going to get it removed onto a sheet tray so that it can cool enough that I can take all the meat off of this. And then I'm going to strain the broth and use that in our soup. I'm going to strain the broth from cooking the chicken into the stock pot with the veggies. Perfect. Now we're going to season the soup. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the Guajillo chili powder, a half a tablespoon of the pasilla, a half a tablespoon of the ancho, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, probably like a teaspoon of this dried epazote. I'm also going to add a 14.5-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. And just going to start working on that chicken to get it picked off the bones and get that in here. I'm going to add all of the chicken to the broth and get that married together. I have a dozen corn tortillas. I'm going to cut them into thin strips, get them cooked in some hot oil. Okay, I have about a half a red onion, 2 limes, 6 Roma tomatoes, a couple avocados, 1 serrano chili, a couple cloves of garlic, and some cilantro. I'm gonna get this all chopped up and put in a bowl. Finally, just season with salt. Give it a big stir. Then I just, at the very end, I test for seasoning. Sometimes I'll add another 1 or 2 of the chicken bouillon cubes to bump up the flavor. And I think I will today too, just to give it a little more intense flavor. In with the 2 bouillon cubes, I'll let that simmer. And then over here I'm frying up the strips of corn tortilla in hot oil. I'm gonna get them onto this pan. We're almost ready to serve this up. So after your tortillas come out, go ahead and season them right away with a little bit of salt. To plate up the chicken tortilla soup, it's all about the toppings. Put a dollop of sour cream in your bowl, about a tablespoonful. Ladle up your soup into the bowl. Okay, I like to give mine a little stir, makes it a little more creamy. Now this is where it gets interesting. Take a handful of those tortilla chips. And you want some of them kind of poking out like that. Next, you take a little sprinkling of cotija cheese. It looks like this. You get it at the Mexican market. Sprinkle that onto the chips. Next, you can add a sprinkling of like cheddar cheese. And then go in with a spoonful of our Pico de Gallo that has avocado. And there you have it, chicken tortilla soup. Tuesday, we're having my mom's meatloaf. I have a cook with me video on my channel. I'll link it in the description box below. It's an excellent recipe. She used to make this every Thursday when we were kids, and it's just comfort on a plate. I'm gonna be good and forgo the potato, and it's gonna take all my willpower to do so. For dinner tonight, we're having my mom's individual meatloaf with asparagus, and the boys and Ken are having baked potatoes with butter, sour cream, chives, the works. But I'm sticking with this. Trying to be good. Wednesday's a busy day, so I'm gonna meal prep some Asian chicken salads, and I'll put that recipe with the dressing that goes along with it in the description box. Delish. For dinner tonight, we're having an Asian chicken salad. I've made this many times on my channel. I'll put the recipe in the description box. It is delicious. I swear today must be my lucky day because I found a whiskey peppercorn marinated big huge steak in the freezer. I took that sucker out, and that's what we're having because today is cray here on the homestead. We're really working hard, but I'm going to throw it on the grill and pull together dinner tonight instead of ordering out. I want to save money. I don't want to mess up my food budget this week, so I'm going to tough it up. Pull the bootstraps up tonight. Tonight for dinner, I'm grilling a huge whole sirloin steak. I bought it a while back and paid $1.99 a pound. I had that coupon, I don't know if you guys remember, and I put it in that whiskey peppercorn marinade, threw it in the freezer for a day when, you know, it's really busy. And I tell you what, today is the day to pull this sucker out of the freezer and throw it on the grill because it has been insane here. We have done so much work on the homestead today. But I have some asparagus, and I'll figure out some other side, throw it together, and I'll tell you what, they're lucky they're getting fed tonight. It's been that kind of day. For dinner tonight, we're having that marinated whiskey peppercorn steak with some Parmesan rice with broccoli and asparagus. Friday, we're going to have some ground beef enchiladas and a little side salad. I'm going to make some guacamole, pico de gallo, some tomatillo sauce, and it's going to be good. Just going to start making some ground beef enchiladas. I have some ground beef that I sauteed with some onions and some taco seasoning. Let it simmer for 20 minutes. So I'm just going to add some of the ground beef and some mild cheddar cheese. Roll these up, seam side down, and I'm going to continue with the rest of this batch. That's what your pan should look like. Now I'm going to make some enchilada sauce. I have a tablespoon and a half of oil heating up, and I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half of flour. I'm going to let this cook for a minute or so. I'm adding a 28-ounce can of Old El Paso enchilada sauce. I'm going to bring this to a boil and simmer. Looks great. I'm going to pour this over the enchiladas now. I'm just going to sprinkle some cheese on top and get this into a 350-degree oven so it can heat through and melt the cheese. For dinner tonight, we're having ground beef enchiladas, a salad with lettuce, cheese, pico de gallo, sour cream, and guacamole. Saturday, I'm gonna throw on some crock pot refried beans, air quotes, and we have a day, another busy day today here. We're working, doing a lot of mulching and working in the garden, and it's just, I'm not gonna have time to cook. And I have the salsa and the guacamole and the Pico de Gallo left over, so we're going to use that on the bean tostadas tonight. Tonight for dinner we're having bean tostadas with sour cream, Pico de Gallo, and guacamole, and it looks delicious. We worked really hard today. I'm going to make some tomatillo sauce. I have 3 tomatillos, and I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil, 1 jalapeno, a couple of poblanos, half of a large onion, and 4 cloves of garlic. The garlic's going to get really sweet as it roasts. Put a little salt on it into a 350-degree oven. These roasted for about 40 minutes. I took off the stems, took out the seeds. I'm going to get these in my blender with a little bit of chicken stock, just enough to give it the right consistency, and get it blended. Then just to add a few tablespoons of chopped cilantro, salt to taste, and just mix that in. Looks great. See the consistency? Nice. Sunday, I'm gonna fix a proper meal for the kids since they've been kind of like little orphans all week. But I'm gonna put some ribs on the smoker, let them smoke all day, and you know, there's something about that. There's always that one neighbor that smokes and you smell the smoke all day long and it makes you hungry. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna do to my kids today. I'm gonna smoke those ribs. I'm gonna make some baked beans. I have a cook with me video on that. I'll link it. I'll put the rub to the ribs in the description box. Mac and cheese and the coleslaw. I think I have a coleslaw video too. Anyway, whatever I have, I'll link in the description box with any recipes. And there it is. That's my weekly meal plan. I'm getting ready to put some ribs on the smoker. And the first thing I do is I take off this little membrane that's on the back. Just get it started and then use a paper towel and it'll come right off. Discard it. Next, I'm going to put some rub on this. This is a paprika brown sugar rub that I make. I'll put the recipe in the description box. You just want to rub it all over both sides. And then I'm going to get this into a smoker. I'm going to wrap this in saran wrap and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. Oh my goodness. Ah! Those ribs look good. So, almost ready for dinner. I have my big iron skillet and I'm going to make some baked beans today because we're having a big barbecue. And I started off with a pound of bacon and I cut it really thin. I have a cooking video on this. I should link that in the bottom in the description box for you guys. The beans are really good for a barbecue. After the bacon starts to cook, add 1 chopped onion, and you cook this until the onion gets soft and the bacon's a little bit crisper. Now that the bacon is rendered and the onions are cooked, I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of brown sugar in here, and I want it to kind of caramelize with the onions and bacon. So I'm going to cook this for a couple of minutes. Now that the brown sugar has caramelized for a few minutes, I'm adding a gallon of pork and beans. And then I just kind of doctor them up a little bit. I put about 1/4 cup of ketchup, couple teaspoons of mustard, couple tablespoons of barbecue sauce, and mix it all together. This is going to go into a 325 degree oven until the top gets all bubbly and caramelized. It's going to be delicious. This is a great recipe for a potluck. I know a whole bunch of you have made these on the channel, and it's become like your signature dish for potlucks or barbecues. It's really good. A lot of people like them. Okay, into the oven. I cooked some medium shell pasta in some hot water, a whole pound. Drain the pasta in a colander. The same pot that you cooked the pasta in, melt a half a cup of butter, a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a half a cup of flour. Cook this for 1 minute. To the roux, add 4 cups of milk. Keep stirring and scraping the bottom of the pan until the sauce thickens. Takes about 10 minutes on medium. I added a pound of Velveeta cheese. I turned it on low, and I'm just going to let this melt and stir frequently. In addition, I'm going to add 8 ounces of a sharp cheddar. The sauce is all done, so we're going to get poured over the cooked macaroni. I went ahead and mixed the pasta with the sauce. I'm just going to take a couple of ounces of grated sharp cheddar, put it on top, put it in the oven for just 5 minutes at 325, 350, and just melt the cheese. So for dinner, we're having some smoked ribs with barbecue sauce, baked beans, macaroni and cheese, and some coleslaw. I just need a few items at the store. Ken's gonna run me up, and I'm just gonna literally sprint a marathon. Grab what I need and get out. My grocery haul this week is small. I got a couple heads of iceberg lettuce, some jalapenos, poblanos, limes, tomatillos. I'm gonna make a tomatillo poblano sauce. Some onions, Roma tomatoes, cilantro. I picked up some ground beef, a couple pounds of sharp cheddar, sour cream, and 4 packages of corn tortillas. My total was $55.49. Much better than last week. Well, that's our meal plan for this week. I hope you guys have a great week. Happy meal planning, and until the next video, talk to you guys later.